Hey everybody, how's it going? Tyler5310 here, and today I'm coming to bring you guys a video that will be more boring than most of my videos typically already are. Shocking, I know, but what we're going to be looking at today is something a little bit different and off topic for my channel. Not like there even is a topic to begin with, but if there was, it would be off topic. So, I have always been a huge fan of carrying a multi-tool around with me. This was actually my first real multi-tool. This is a Leatherman rebar in the black oxide, and this is a lovely little tool. It has got so much packed into it for the money that you pay for this. I believe when I bought this it was $59.99, and that is for the black oxide one. You have got just a whole array of really nice finishes, and of course this was like, you know, the gateway drug per se to me. I bought this, and then I kind of had a little bit of a fit, and well, got a little carried away, and suddenly the next thing I knew I had plenty of them. So that's not all of them either. I have some in my car that I keep out there, or I have at least two in my car. So of course that made me want to just, you know, try the next thing. What is going to be the next move? So I went to a Leatherman Wave. Actually, the way I got this particular one, was I bought a used one, a broken one, and I sent it in and got this one as a warranty one, which was the newest one at the time before the Wave Plus was introduced. This was the Big Daddy, and this is the one that so many people fell in love with and accustomed to, myself included. I used this one non-professionally, doing professional work for probably 2 years, and I also used it on the side in my, you know, personal life outside of work as well for quite some time. And this guy right here is an absolute trooper. And when I tell you guys that I use this tool hard, I used this tool hard, and the fit and finish of it is still just like amazing. Like it's still, everything about this little guy is still so good. The blades hold an edge, just everything. However, one day I did get a little crazy on it, and as you guys can see, I broke the plier tip right there, which isn't a huge deal. The pliers are still obviously functional. The needle nose not so much, but everything else about it is great. Now I did wear the pliers in a little bit so you guys can see they have more of a free action now, which is one thing that I actually like, and I don't really mind that it wore like that, because, oh man, I don't know if I'll be able to get this in frame, but there's still very minimal edge to edge play. And I know doing it here, maybe if I do it from this angle you guys will be able to tell more. Like even so, there's still very little lateral play in these. There's a tad, but I wish I could go back and show you guys some of the ways that this old girl was used, and you guys would be like, wow, and that's all that's wrong with it. Yep. So then I eventually got the Wave Plus, but all of these guys never really, this one was a step in the right direction as well. We've got the replaceable wire cutters on that guy, which is great. Same pliers overall though, but the replaceable wire cutters, I do a lot of electrical work at work, so having replaceable cutters is an absolute godsend. So when I noticed that these guys weren't quite doing the job for me, of course, you know, along the lines, like stuff like this I never bought to use for like my line of work. This was all just something to keep in my bag or keep in my car's center console, or just, you know, anything like that. Like none of these were ever intended to be used heavy. But I decided that I didn't want to carry 2 of these or 3 of these or whatever at a time, and I wanted something that I would just be able to, you know, keep in my pocket or on my belt or whatever for, you know, everyday carry. So then I ended up settling on the free P4. And I use this guy constantly for probably 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I would say. And it was great. It is a great tool for a target audience. Now this one, instead of being held together with friction, you guys can actually see it's got these neodymium magnets, or as AVE likes to call them, neodymium magnets, and that is where you get the bond. So, off topic, but this was the first iteration of the free series, which is great. I really like this. I like how easy all the one-handed things are to get to. These are actually aftermarket thumb tabs, because everybody knows how sharp the inside part of these blades can be, and your thumbs will tell the tale about that. But there were just a few things about this knife that I didn't quite like. The pliers, once again, were just a little bit not big enough, and I knew that because I have a Super Tool 300 that I keep in the car, and I also had this Surge for 2 years when I bought this, but some of the tools just did not sit right with me, one of which being the fact that it had 2 crappy screwdrivers, so I replaced it with this guy right here. This is a custom printed, or custom forged, I guess, bit driver. You've got either your 1/4 inch or your standard Leatherman bit right there. The 1/4 inch, that's just flat. So that single-handedly made this tool miles better to use. But some of the features on it that I just could not get around were this ruler. This ruler, come on. Like, what is this? Like, this is probably the sorriest excuse for a ruler that I've ever seen. What are you going to measure with this? Tread depth? Because that is the only thing I've ever been able to measure with this. So, anyways, another one that I thought was kind of laughable was this file. Look at this little thing. Like, it's pretty freaking small. Like, for example, let's compare it to a bottle cap, since you guys don't know how big my fingers are. They're typical, I'll tell you that. I mean, look, like, it does the job, yes, but it doesn't do the heavy duty, you know, demanding filing down the inside of you know, 1-inch conduit or 6 or 8 inch PVC after you cut it with a freaking Sawzall, you know? Like, it doesn't do that. And it almost felt like a toy pulling those little tools out. Don't get me wrong, this tool is great. I love it. I really enjoy the included, the built-in belt clip. That is a huge plus. And just like something about being able to one-handed your pliers like that is super trick in my book, and I love that. I wish I could do it on, yeah. Like, that's just cool, and it's a really low profile tool. They're loose by design like that. That way, you know, you're not having to push it apart like that. You've got your crimper and all that built in still, which is great, because like I said, I do a lot of electrical, a lot of everything at work really. But when this didn't cut it, I looked back to one that I've had for multiple years, and let's go ahead and look right at what the solution was and how it was hiding in front of me the entire time. Okay, so inside of this bog standard, you know, leather sheath that the Surge actually came with, you've got, in my opinion, the best, most fitting heavy-duty Leatherman ever to have been. And there are a few things that make this the case. Of course, my EDC flashlight is a E3i EOS right now, but I plan on changing this on Wednesday. So we'll get to that at some other point, I reckon. But until then, That is what that is. The Leatherman Surge. Now, this is a big tool. Like, once again, you guys don't know how big my hands are. They're not very big. They're average, I reckon. But this is a big tool. Let's compare it to one that is more familiar, the Wave. Of course, that is all my camera can focus. So, anyways. I mean, it's quite a thick tool. But I say all this because this is a well-built tool. This is a heavy-duty tool, a tool that feels like a real tool that you are bringing to work to get real work done. Now, not to say any of the other Leatherman aren't, but this one has been the most fitting that I've been able to use thus far. You've got real scissors, big scissors, like proper freaking scissors. These guys right here are sharp, and these are fantastic for, I mean, everything really. You've got a great 420 high carbon stainless steel blade, which, yeah, I wish it was like 154 cm or 30 SV or something, but you know, what can you do? You've got another 420 high carbon stainless steel serrated blade, which is fantastic. And one feature on here that has single-handedly probably become the reason that I'll never switch from this until they implement this on a different tool. This, not just the file, however, the diamond coated file, just like on the Wave, is a miracle worker for field sharpening tools and drill bits and whatnot. This, my friends, is what I'm talking about. This is an exchangeable T-shank holder. That is a standard T-shank pattern. So, what this means is that while you're able to use the file, this is a Bosch wood cutting blade. That fits perfect. It's things like this that I'm talking about. Things that turn a tool from a, you know, emergency thing to something that you can actually confidently grab for out of your bag or your box or whatever, you know, have you, and know that you're gonna get the job done. Like the other night, I cut through a 2x4 with this thing in like 30 seconds, and this is, you know, more of a testament to the Bosch blade, but the fact that I was able to do it without going to my car to get a, you know, a Sawzall or you know, having to run a trip back out to the van. And of course, Leatherman does include their saw blade, which is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but when you can use something that's bigger for the job, use something that's bigger. Bigger's always better, right? Right? You can also run all the way up to a 10-inch blade, or really, the sky's the limit. You know, you can run whatever size blades you can find that's, you know, still T-shank compatible. Of course, we have also got a metal blade. I've used this guy numerous times, and these are great as well. I believe this was a Bosch at one point. I don't remember. Bosch is my go-to for most things, but that's the type of flexibility that I'm talking about, guys. The type of things that set these tools apart. And that's just the general repairability and usability. Like when I use this file for sharpening drill bits for the next 15 years and it's completely, you know, worn out, I don't want to have to go out and buy a new tool. I'd like to be able to just, you know, replace the one that I've already got. And when the wood saw is, you know, duller than I can think of a few things, but when it's dull, you don't want to go out and buy a new one. And if you don't have the experience with sharpening a saw blade like I don't. I mean, you don't want to have to go out and, you know, do that. You just want to be able to replace it with, you know, the Leatherman provided parts, and that's awesome. You can buy the file and the saw blade from Leatherman, and that's by itself awesome in my opinion. I love that they provide something like that. You've also got a wonderful 9-inch ruler on this guy, so you don't have that piddly 1.25 1.5 or whatever deal you've got. If you lay it out like that, you've got a total of 9 inches, which is more than you'll ever need, trust me. And yeah, so that is kind of how you know that this tool means total business. You've got these monstrous plier head. Like, this is a proper freaking plier head, guys. This compared to let's say the Wave, that's something that if you're watching this, you've probably handled a Wave at some point. Like, it's just no comparison. The girth, yeah, the girth, look at that. She's bigger. Like I said, we covered this earlier, guys. Bigger is better, typically. And with the option of being able to use it with a bit kit, that as well makes this thing single-handedly, just like I said, the most practical and versatile tool for heavy-duty use. And that is what this is covering, the heavy-duty guys. You know, the guys that will use these things with gloves on, like they're, you know, targeted towards, you know, not for the guy that occasionally needs to, you know, do whatever with. Like, this is a man's tool, you know. Anyways, the big kit's also a fantastic part. This doesn't have anything to do with it because this works on numerous Leatherman, except for the free. Why didn't they do that with the free? Anyways, all kinds of bits. You've got this set, and you've got this set. Unfortunately, only one fit in the sheath, so you got to kind of mix and match which bits you use the most. That's what this is for me. But yeah, all this stuff in a package that's, you know, realistically not huge. And let's be honest, to a lot of people, yeah, this will be big. This is quite a hefty tool. The rebar to some people is a big tool. And when you're comparing that, like, it makes the rebar look like a little toy. I mean, of course it's not, but it makes it look like one. So, but if you're the type of guy that is used to, you know, carrying a 50-pound tool bag and, you know, rolling in your Milwaukee pack out right behind you, then this is, you know, this is a walk in the park. This is great to not have to, you know, climb down that ladder to come get, you know, a screwdriver, a file, or a knife blade or whatever. And that is why the Leatherman Surge, the new version, or the new version at this point, is my go-to for every day. Put it on my belt, set it and forget it. Hope I never have to use it for, you know, anything serious, but it'll always be there if I do. So, thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day. See ya.